And we're back with the top Senate Democrat. Chuck Schumer joins us from New York. Senator, I want to start with the issue of the Trayvon Martin case. You are a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. A lot has been made of these stand your ground cases. Do you think they should be reevaluated, changed?
I do. In fact, I'm sending a letter to the Justice Department today to ask them to expand their investigation into the general application of these stand your ground laws, whether they actually increase rather than decrease violence, and whether they actually prevent law enforcement from prosecuting cases where a real crime has been committed. This stand your ground law is a whole new concept in our jurisprudence. It basically says if you fear great physical harm, you can shoot. Some people call it shoot first, ask questions later. And in fact, in a survey done by the Orlando Sun in Central Florida, they looked at 13 cases where stand your ground was invoked. And in 12 of those cases, the person who was shot by the person invoking stand your ground didn't even have a weapon on them. So, you know, Nora, I'm a law enforcement Democrat. I have a lot of faith in our police and in our sheriffs, and I don't like a move to vigilantism. Bottom line is, had Mr. Zimmerman listened to the police when he called 911 and let them handle it, this would have had a much better outcome.
Do you think there'll be hearings on Capitol Hill?
I hope so. I think that we should examine this law. They're all new. They've been passed very, very quickly. And I think the states who passed them, if they find out the real facts, may decide to repeal them.
I want to turn to the future for this country. We just heard from Congressman Paul Ryan. The Republicans have put forward a budget plan. He says he can guarantee that he would not be providing tax cuts to the wealthiest Americans and cutting funding for the poor in terms of the cuts that are to Medicaid. What's your response to that?
Well, Nora, we call Paul Ryan's budget a smoke and mirrors budget. Anyone can get up there and say, I will cut $2 trillion in taxes. I will cut $5 trillion in spending. But then when they say, where are they going to make it up? He doesn't say. So it's sort of a smoke and mirrors budget. And in fact, if you don't raise capital gains and dividends, which it's Republican watchwords never to raise those, the only way he can make it up is on the backs of the middle class, eliminating or greatly reducing the mortgage deduction, the charitable deduction, the child tax care credit, the health care deductions that employers pay. And it's such a contrast with Democrats.
Right.
We are going to put on the floor on tax day a proposal by Sheldon Whitehouse that would enact the so-called Buffett rule. It says those at the top pay 30% regardless of their deductions. The rule is very simple. You should, if you're very wealthy, God bless you, you made a lot of money, we love you in America, but let's be fair. You should pay more than your secretary, and that will be on the floor April 15th, tax day.
Interesting that you're going to put that up for a vote in Congress. Let me just turn to one other section. The Ryan plan would repeal the Affordable Care Act. On Monday, the Supreme Court will begin debating the legality of that. Do you think this is going to be a major issue in this presidential campaign?
Well, I'll tell you something. If Mitt Romney is the nominee, the issue will be virtually taken off the table. Let's remember, not only did he propose it in Massachusetts, but in 2009, when the health care debate was raging, he wrote an op-ed in USA Today and called on the president to adopt it and called on the Congress to adopt it. And the president said that our plan is modeled on the Massachusetts plan. So if Mitt Romney's the nominee and he tries to bring up health care, it's not going to work. You know, he can run, but he can't hide, and it'll just increase the view that he's the Etch-a-Sketch president.
All right. Senator Schumer, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Nora.